Hello, happy Tuesday. It is Portal Tuesday. And it happens to be the day of love. Happens to be Valentine's Day. Happy Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for standing by with me as we go live a little later in the day today. I made myself a chiropractor appointment this morning as one of my acts of self-care today. So we did that this morning, and now we are here excited to jump into the portal with you guys. If you're jumping on live, please pop in and say hello so I can see that you're here. If this is the first time that you're catching me, let me know in the comments below. Like, this is my first time. I'm so excited to be here. If it's your first time, hi, welcome to the portal. This is the place where you get your questions answered. This is a spot where you get to ask anything. It's like free coaching. So have at it. I've got 2 questions today that came in through email this morning, and we're going to rock with those. But if you guys have questions as you are popping in, please put them in the comments. I'm going to keep an eye on them from my computer. So if you don't know me, my name is Gwen. I am a woman on a mission to help female entrepreneurs stand out on purpose, to step into a purposefully powerful life and business. And I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with my work. I'm obsessed with being a coach. I'm obsessed with being an entrepreneur. I love that I get to do this with you. I love the transformation. I became obsessed with my own transformation, and I love taking women through their own transformation too. So thank you for being here and hopping in. Let's dive in with the first question. So let me pull that up. First question. Okay. I was asked, do you need a plan before you start? How important is having a plan? So I took this as before you start your business, but this could potentially be before you start anything, right? I'm gonna take this one back to old Gwen. If you don't know, I am a recovering people pleaser, recovering checklist obsessed people pleaser. And I would not take any steps in my life before I had every little detail figured out. Let me tell you where that got me. That got me to burnout. That got me to feeling like I had to follow something to a T, and if I didn't, I wasn't successful. That got me to creating false expectations. So when I would put a plan on paper, right? And let's just say this is you starting your business. Like, you want to start out as a coach or an entrepreneur or just starting your business, and you want to have it all planned out. And while I believe that having a plan in place is part of the process, I think it's also overrated. A plan doesn't have to look like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Because what I learned along the way is when you create a plan like that, when you create step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, if you don't get step 1 right, because you put it down on the paper as this is step 1, you'll never move on to step 2. So what's the purpose of never moving on just because you didn't perfect step 1, right? Most of us don't build a business because we think it has to be perfect. Most of us don't build a business because we think we need to have it all laid out before we jump. I will tell you that you do not. And I'm only speaking from experience. If you guys know me, I say this like almost every time. I can only speak to what I know. I can only speak to what I've been through, the lessons that I've learned, the experiences that I've had in business since 2015. 2015 was the start of my business. And so I can only speak to my experience, but I have been through it all, okay? There are very few experiences that I haven't experienced, very few lessons that I haven't learned, but we are constantly learning too, right? So do you need to have a plan before you start? I think it's important to have an end, what do I want to call it? Result, an end result in mind. Like, I'm Gwen and I want to start this business because I want to create a legacy for myself. I want to help women transform. I want to, like, what's your end result in creating this business? Not to mean that there's an end destination, because as you know, there's no destination. We don't reach a certain pivotal point in our life and go, well, I made it, and now I can just sit back and relax and not do anything. Like, there's no destination to this journey. If you're here, you're an entrepreneur, you might know already, and maybe you don't, but I'm gonna break the news to you. This is going to be the hardest journey that you have ever taken. This has been the hardest thing that I have ever done. It wasn't grad school and writing a thesis and getting up in front of the entire staff on the doctorate program and speaking in front of them. It wasn't the hardest thing I've ever done. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. Why? Because when you show up fully and someone speaks out against it, or someone tells you that your idea is stupid, or you get no's upon no's upon no's, or you launch and no one buys, you have to create this emotional regulation that allows you to not take that personally. And we've been living our lives taking things personally, like our whole life, right? You don't get an A on a paper, that means that you're not good in school. You don't get the job, that means that you're not a good applicant, right? You don't pass the driving test, you're not a good driver, which is actually possible. You might not be a good driver, or you just don't perform well under pressure, right? We've been living our life to these expectations and to these perfections that when it comes to entrepreneurship, which is completely and totally opposite of that, because we have to stand our own ground while other people are going, what the hell is she doing? How is she going to make any money? And I caught myself doing it today. I caught myself doing it today with someone I know, launched a business. And I was talking to my husband in line at the cafe, and I was like, did you see so-and-so's business? Like, does she think that's going to be successful? How dare I have and pass judgment on something that I only see on surface level, right? And I caught that right away. And I was like, you know what? I take that back. I don't know the depths of what she's doing. I don't know the deep inside mission and message. I don't know what it's all about. I cannot judge her. It might not be something that I feel called to do or that I feel important for me, but it's important for her. And if it is important for her, then she will make and create success with it. So how did we get here? Do you need a plan before you start? Let's bring it back. Do you need a plan before you start? You need an idea. You need an idea that lights you up. You need something that feels really good in your body, and you need an idea that people need what you have. What evidence do you have that people are going to want this? Have you seen people in your world who are struggling? Have you noticed a trend? Have you studied people? Have you studied the market? Have you studied where you're bringing this offer out into, this business out into, and decided that what you have come back with as research is enough to say people need what you want to put out? So you need that, a good idea, and you need research. And honestly, after that, yes, there's strategy about showing up on social media. Yes, there's strategy in emails and building an email list and building an audience. Yes, there's strategy in all of that, but you can learn all of that as you go. You don't need to have it all planned out in order for you to start. In fact, this is what stops most entrepreneurs from seeing any success at all, making money doing what they're doing, because we believe we have to have it all figured out before we go, and we don't. So you need an idea. You need something that feels really good in your body. You need some sort of market research that tells you what you have is what people need, and then you just need to show up. If that is your plan, those 4 things, that is perfect. And I don't mean perfect as in like it meets all the check boxes and everything's aligned. I mean, it's perfect for you, right? So that was a really good question. I hope that helps. Second question was, what is one thing you need to do every day when building a business? All right, so I try to avoid the words need to or should, but I do believe that there is one thing that every entrepreneur and every business owner needs to do, no matter where they are in their business. First, starting out, already making money, making a lot of money. Like, it doesn't matter where you are. There's one thing I believe that you need to do, and that is to be consistent with your message. Be consistent in showing up. That is the one thing that I believe you need to do. Good morning, Tiffany. How are you? What is one thing you need to do every day when building a business? It is show up. This will differentiate you from the rest of the people who are not showing up. You show up when you don't feel like it, because you are creating content with a purpose. You are bringing value to people. When you consistently show up, you are keeping your word to yourself, and you're keeping your word to the people that you are here to serve. And when you do that, people realize it. People realize it. Even if your mission and your message changes, you keep showing up. Even if you're not fully dressed, you keep showing up. I don't mean not fully dressed. I just meant like you didn't put yourself together. The one thing that you need to do when you're building a business is to be consistent. I'll tell you that keeping your word to yourself allows other people, your potential clients, the people who are watching you, to see that you take yourself seriously, that you take your word to yourself seriously, that you take your business seriously, that you take your message seriously. And when they see that, doing that, let me take that back. When they see you doing that for yourself, then they see that you will do that for them. You will take their business seriously. You will take their emotions seriously. You will take showing up for them seriously. So the one thing that you need to do, good morning, Sophia, when building a business is showing up for yourself, bringing value, bringing inspiration, bringing fun, and bringing education to your audience. You can't sell an offer if you don't have an audience. And the only way to build an audience is to consistently show up and build the audience. You bring value, people will notice. You show up consistently, people will notice. They will want to follow you because you show up every single day. Here's one way to break this down, right? If you're like, but I don't know what to talk about each day. Here's how you break it down. Lead yourself, right, Sophia? Lead yourself. Here's how you break it down. Remember in the previous question, do you need a plan before you start? And I said, you need to have an idea of an end result that you are bringing people. So what is your end result that you are focused on bringing people? For example, I am leading women to step into power purposefully. So they are becoming purposefully powerful. They intentionally are standing in their power and leading life and business from that place. So if my intention, my end result for people is to become purposefully powerful, now I get to break that down. What does that look like? What parts do they need to have and learn and talk about and absorb and be educated on in order to become purposefully powerful? Break it down backwards, and then you have a tree of information. So I just imagine, like, I don't know what this is even called, a flow chart. So here's your title, Purposefully Powerful. Then you break it down into like 4 subtopics, 4 things that they need to master in order to become purposefully powerful. So let's just call that like a branding. You need to have a conscious brand, consistently showing up, taking aligned action, and I'm just bringing these off the top of my head, but we have little legs coming off of purposefully powerful. Can you break those down even further? Now, can I take brand and break that down even further? Yes, we can go into content, we can go into visual, we can go into color, we can go into text, we can go into website, we can take content, break that down. Like, how can you continue to just break down so that you have this tree of information? This is what you get to figure out, and then you get to show up every day, teaching, bringing value. Give it all away. Give it all away, because when people see you consistently showing up and giving away your most highly valued content, they understand that in paid mentorship in paid containers with you, that you will give them even more than you gave for free, right? If your free content looks like that, it's that powerful, it's that contact packed, they know that when they pay to be in your world, whether that's one-on-one or programs or masterclasses or masterminds, they know they're going to get so much value from you. So you're over here just creating evidence for people. That's all you're doing. You're showing up consistently every day, creating evidence for people to see you, to understand you, to trust you. And that's on you to show up every day so that you build this audience that's ready to buy when you launch your offers. Does that make sense? Does that pack a punch? I feel like those were two really good questions that we like sucker punched and got right in there. So thank you for asking those questions. That is powerful. Those two things are so powerful for you and your business. And here's what's super exciting about that. Today, if you're on my email list, you already got this email. If you jumped over to my Instagram stories because you were waiting for this offer to be launched, you already know what this is. But today, I launched a 6-week program called Unstoppable. Unstoppable. Cue the music. I'm unstoppable, right? Unstoppable. Where you learn how to create offers that sell every time. Where you build a hot audience that is always ready to buy. Where you create a super duper clear message. Where you build a brand that stands out. Where you tap into your innovation and creativity and you become unstoppable, not only in your business, but in your life. This is Unstoppable, a 6-week program. It starts in April. We have pre-sale pricing happening until Friday. This $99 pricing, it's like 100,000,000% off. Happening until Friday. So for 2 days, you can grab 6 weeks of program. 6 weeks of Unstoppable. It's literally like nothing I've ever taught before, and it will change the entire trajectory of your life and your business because it is nervous system regulation, emotional regulation, plus strategy in an Unstoppable program for $99. So if you're not on my email list and you want to be, just send me a message with your email. We'll get you on there. If you haven't hopped over to my Instagram stories, the link to grab Unstoppable is there. I will also place it in the bottom of this video so that you guys can join us. It is going to be, this is not your average business program, okay? Because you're not an average entrepreneur if you're here. You're a queen and you're about to be crowned unstoppable, and I cannot wait to do it with you in April. So run to grab your spot, claim your spot for $99, and we're going to change your life together in April. I love you guys so much. I cannot wait to see what other questions you come up with. If you think of anything else, drop into the portal feed, drop your questions in there, and then next week we will get to your questions. I am so grateful for you. Happy Valentine's Day. I love you so much. You're unstoppable, and I can't wait to create with you.